Hello, welcome to this second episode of Scented Sofa. Today we have a huge program that is here. Let's not get lost today. Little summary of what's gonna happen today. We have some exciting news to share. Well, I have some exciting news to share with you. Once we've done that, we will go to the ups of the week. So what I've seen recently in the fragrance industry that I love to see, some new releases as well. Of course, we're going to talk about mental health and the fragrance community, about also the story of the week, blah, blah, blah. Voila. So this is a long format. So take your cup of coffee, chill out. Today, I'm not super fancy. I'm more or less in my pajama. Sorry, you've seen my feet. Feet fetishists are gonna be on fire. Sorry. I'm wearing Rhodes Cloud9 because, you know, like I feel very cozy today. So I want to have this same cozy mood. Cloud9 is made exactly like it's said to be. Like you're on a cloud. It's very airy, very fluffy, white musk, a bit aromatic. It exactly smells like your clean laundry after you just washed it. It's really smell like that. I love this scent, and actually, it's actually quite strong. I spray only twice and it stays on me all day. And I have to say, it's the first time I actually, because I had perfume like this, like for example, Nivea, those nice eau de toilette for very cheap, that smell a bit like that, but it didn't stay that long on me. This one is amazing, much more detailed as well. So really like this brand. It's very modern as well, so love that. It puts me on a very relaxed mood. Alright guys, so we're gonna start nice and easy. For the first news we have is about Maison Francis Xerjoff. No, actually just Francis Xerjoff. If you know a little bit about perfume, you for sure know this man that is responsible of the creation of Le Mal from Jean-Paul Gaultier au Baccarat Rouge, of course, like the world famous Baccarat Rouge. So for me, he's really a genius perfumer. And he's been recruited in 2021 by the House of Dior to be the in-house perfumer. So we had like some creation that now are launched by him, which I personally adore. Of course, I love the previous perfumer François de Machy, but I was happy for some change. Soon he's about to release, I think it's not launched yet, correct me if I'm wrong, but a major release, which I'm a little bit shocked about, to be honest. L'Heure de J'adore. Another flankers of J'adore. Basically what they want to do is a reinvention of the house. Famous perfume J'adore, introduced in 1999 by Calice Becker back in the time, which I personally love. It's not my favorite, but it's an ultimate classic alongside number 5 Shalimar and perfume like this. And this creation was like juicy, floral, very glamorous. We all remember obviously like Charlize Theron in this advertisement. But anyway, so they want to change L'Heure, which was actually my favorite flanker version of J'adore, because it was like much more intense, warmer, more like a nectar. The perfumer said that he wanted to just heighten the J'adore sensuality, which why not, you know, it's amazing, and tempered the original fruitiness. So less fruit and more floral. He really wants to work on create a nectar with the amazing florals, like, you know, like a golden juice of florals, basically. So he wants also to simplify the formula, which I think is definitely more modern. I've talked to you quite often about this, like before we used to do like crazy, complicated fragrance, and now like he wants like we're more into fragrance that are easy to understand, simplicity in ingredient, not crazy complicated, and we spend more time on one ingredient. I personally love both, but it's true that it allows you to work with more qualitative ingredients. I'm not particularly a fan of those kind of decisions because you know, like I understand that you change iconic fragrance because there's new laws, new ingredient legislation, and you have to adapt to that 100%. But changing iconic name just because like you want to change the juice, I think it can, hopefully it's gonna be amazing and no one's gonna regret it, but it can leave like some fans really aside, and for me it's a bit complicated anyway. Tell me what you think about this. We move on to Ulta. So Ulta that is tired of thief. So Ulta, this is like a beauty retailer, and they are a little bit tired of shoplifter at the moment. And I mean, like, I can't blame them, because apparently there's like an increase into shoplifting at the moment. I mean, everyone is in crisis, so I guess, you know, like everybody is trying to do their money. Can you find something else to do your money with? Anyway, creator Auntie Brint, she was in Ulta and she started recording the perfume section. And there was like a big surprise because she's seen like many annotation in the fragrance and she couldn't understand what was that. She thought it was a new fragrance or a new design, but it was not. I'll let you watch the video.
Y'all, I went to Ulta. And I went to the perfume section and I see this and I'm thinking, okay, that's just the new design for Good Girl. Then I keep walking and it's on every single bottle. What has been going on in Ulta? They is tired of the bullshit. It's on every single tester.
These are actually messages directly addressed to shoplifter. So, you know, to a bit scare the shoplifter, but also like a shoplifter who probably not going to take like a bottle with millions of inscription on it, so they won't be able to resell it unless they are just shoplifting for themselves. Fair enough, but usually it's to steal, you know, to sell or to give to someone else, whatever. So the message that the employees are wrote on the bottle with a black mark and red mark are messages like "Don't steal, please," "Cameras watching you," "Put it back." I don't think it's the best solution because like it kind of lowers down the shopping fragrance experience, especially when you consider that fragrance is an art and you're writing on the bottle. It doesn't really leave a real luxurious experience, but if it's like a beauty retailer like Ulta, Superdrug, thing like that, I don't think I mind it if it's helped them to not experience so much shoplifting. So former employees actually said it's a massive issue. Quoting, "When I worked at Ulta, people would steal everything in store and the tester with garbage bags." Garbage bag! In TikTok, talking about all money fragrances. Some content creator reveals that one perfume will make you smell like old money. Explaining myself, if you don't know what means old money, it's kind of a trend nowadays. Everyone wants to dress like old money or to look like old money, blah, 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 whatever. Old money refers to describe people from generation of wealth. So you've been wealthy since a long time, basically like aristocratic, basically. And me, I kind of grew up in that. So my family is not old money and family wealthy money and stuff like that, no. But because I've got the surname coming from my mom is a surname that is directly linked to a king of France. And when I was in high school, I was a bit in a posh high school, and I found myself accepted in aristocratic little bit teenagers and ranks and stuff. So we are going to rally party, like where, you know, like wealthy parents, they try to make you mate with wealthy children. Honestly, I so wanted to be part of this because there's a part of me that love Baroque. I love the beauty of the design that it comes with it in houses and stuff like that. I love this kind of old money style in my house. So I love vintage and stuff like that. So I used to be passionate about that, and then I just realized that it was like a very hypocritical environment, and I didn't feel comfortable personally. So after everyone is different, but that was my experience. So I know a bit about old money and fashion styles and what people are wearing in terms of fragrances in those kind of circle. And so basically coming back to the account, basically it's the account on TikTok, Class of Palm Beach, Florida. In Florida, basically they started to interview after event, like people are, what scent are you wearing, blah, blah, blah. And then they ask what is the whole money type of fragrance. And many of them actually replied Baccarat Rouge. And honestly, I was a bit shocked about that. Like, I'm like, not shocked, but I was like, Baccarat Rouge is not old money style whatsoever. But after, you know, it's from Florida, so I don't live there. I don't know what people are like over there, so I don't know. But like from what experience I had, like it was more like people were just going to a good Guerlain. like, you know, habit rouge, héritage, galop, things like that, really. Terre d'Hermès, oh, they would go to Chanel, Dior is a bit, sometimes a bit too much for them, you know, like they go to like really wealthy, classy, but simple brands. Like I never seen anyone, I mean, back when I was really part of this environment, like, no one, Baccarat Rouge was not born, but like, they were not really into like fragrances that smell different, especially Baccarat Rouge that is so loud. Like people are not into loud fragrance. Like if you want to play all money, I highly recommend you to take something discreet actually, because this is the classiest thing you could do really. But anyway, science subject with the rise of AI in fragrances. This is something that is actually really interesting because the essence of fragrance is really, you know, in between art and science. It's a mix of both because you have chemistry as much as you have the artistic side into fragrances. That's perfume. So actually, can IA play a part in now? Actually, brands are actually trying to work more with AI, but not in the way you think, more to meet the consumers that can be like quite picky with their fragrance. Anyway, like it's an expensive hobby. The consumers, they want something unique, appealing, that has power, that has longevity. So it's a lot to work with. And for the things that are longevity, power, the appealing effect, leave it to AI. You see, the human touch being the creativity and the rest leave it to AI. For example, the search of raw ingredients is actually very difficult to source. And if you want to test a little bit the formulas and try to create a fragrance, you have to have shitloads of ingredients, and it's actually hard to source. It can be dangerous to the planet, so you need to be very careful with how you get your raw material. So basically, Givaudan, that is a huge company that has a huge bank of perfumers and ingredients and stuff like that, their perfumer use AI robots to mix together ingredients. So for example, they have a library of notes that they can see visually on screen, and they can type on this note and this note, mix them together, and then suddenly the sample arrive with exactly as it's gonna smell. So this AI give you directly how those two ingredients are gonna work together. So it's a huge gain of time, you know. Also in Givaudan, they are using AI to improve the communication. For example, they invented a device that uses AI that is DigiPulse. So DigiPulse is the first olfactive social listening tool. Explaining myself here. So it uses AI to gather customer feedback across all social media. It's not only that you, in your house, you did a review of Baccarat Rouge. I always use Baccarat Rouge, I don't know why. Baccarat Rouge in Instagram. Well, they are able to find that review, to gather all the information. So we're talking about millions of feedback on social media. They gather it and they inform perfumer of people's general preferences, which is amazing because it directly gives you a feedback, so you can work on your formula, you can work on changing some stuff and stuff. So it's a very good, I think it's a great tool. You have another tool that is called Mirici. I don't know if it's Marici or Mirici. Consists to connect specific scent with corresponding colors and emotions. So it creates a standing point to create a fragrance. So for example, you finish your fragrance, and you analyze this and you will this fragrance is represented the white color. So you can adapt your communication, your packaging, everything. So what do you think about this role of AI? Me, I think for now, at least as it stays, is quite helpful. Let's talk about fake fragrance that happened in England, in Staffordshire, where people are reminded of the risk of buying and using counterfeit fragrances following seizure of items in the country. They find those items in pop-up store or in little shop, convenience store around. And you have that everywhere in England. I don't know if it's how it is in your country, but like if I cross the road, I can directly go to a convenience store, stuff like that, and find a fake perfume across the road, literally. Like, so I can understand that some people would be attracted to pay this, seeing the price of fragrances. So basically they could find, during that seizure, they could find fragrance of Lacoste, Chanel, Gucci, Hugo Boss for around £20 or less. So very attractive price. These are not dupes. These are counterfeit because they have the same name and they're clearly taking the business of another brand onto their umbrella. Basically they are there to trick you. So it's very different from a dupe. And most of all, it's dangerous because you have harmful chemicals and ingredients. And you can find bottle of fragrance for £20 that are amazing without having to buy counterfeits. Anyway, Victoria Wilson, there is a cabinet member responsible for trading standard. She actually said, quoting, "Buying a fake perfume is really risky. Not only will it not have been through the official testing, but many have been found to contain harmful ingredients. We also always say that if something is too good to be true, it usually is." And also reminding you that those counterfeit fragrance, not all of them, I'm saying all of them, but it has been proven that some terrorist group were actually using the money done in the black market with counterfeit fragrance for actually financing terrorism. A little bit of history. Histories that made me laugh big time, actually. So basically the scent of ancient Rome has been revealed. Explaining here. So scientists analyzed a vial of perfume that has been found during the construction of a house in Spain. So they found this little thing that apparently like survived since 2000 years ago. Like so I don't know how it's been preserved, but it's there. And they opened it and they could find whiff of patchouli in the air. Which is interesting. It means that in ancient Rome they were still they were using patchoulis. It was still like a popular ingredient. Like is it now? Because we use patchoulis of gourmand ingredient. What really makes me laugh is that this is information I've seen in the Daily Mail, and it's so funny. They said that the scientific analyzed the vial of perfume, and they said it smells like hippies. What do you mean? Like, they said that basically because they found patchouli in the vial, it smelled like hippies. Oh my God, can someone educate those people? So, and after they said that, I'm quoting, "The plants was famously the preserve of hippies and groovy art teachers in the 1970s. So if you were in patchouli, just to let you know, you might be a bit of a hippie or groovy teachers in the 1970s. Such an odd way to characterize patchouli, honestly. So funny. New trend alert, the veggies perfume. Have you not heard? But now vanilla is done. Like cherries and fruits are done. We all about veggies now. There's a brand in particular that really made the hype, and it's called Officine Universelle from Berly. This is a French beauty brand, and they launched like a collection of fragrances that actually have really pretty bottles. They look a bit like from apothecary vibe, and they're like very vintage. Super cute. I really want to try. So I haven't tried them, but I've read about them, and apparently there's one fragrance that is basil inspired. There's one that is called Indian cucumber and Syrian mint. Another one called watercress and Sardinian parsley. Another one called Scandinavian recurrent and Peruvian tomato. And apparently there's some chili in there, who are interesting combination. Another one is called Iraqi beetroot and Egyptian rhubarb. And another one is called Afghan carrot and Caribbean sweet potato. So we have sweet potatoes, we have rhubarb. Rhubarb is, we've seen that before. Beetroot, tomato is not often. I'm really fancying like a Bloody Mary. Anyway, it's true that I've seen like some fragrance going more in the veggies way. I was reading some article about how pumpkin was the ingredient of the year, apparently. Don't know. Have you tried any pumpkin scent? Subject that made me laugh big time. And it's a subject by Claire Foch. I don't know this lady. She's an English lady and she's like a speechwriter, basically. Like she's a columnist. in newspaper. She wrote an article that I read. Claire doesn't like perfume. Claire hates perfume and despises it. And she actually wants to ban perfume. She tells you how much she suffered with a fragrance aversion, which is something I heard before. Some people really detest fragrances. Fair enough, you know, like our nose is very sensitive, our senses are sensitive. Sometimes for me, like for example, I'm a noisy, I've got noisy aversion. Like I hate mouth noise, I hate like little noise. I'm very sensitive to noises and to strong noises. It drives me nuts. So I can totally understand. I don't have fragrance aversion. It's my job, so better not. So basically she said that a few times she was escaping like a taxi because the taxi driver was smelling crazy, like a strong cologne. I understand though, it happened to me like a few times like, where a guy was smelling Paco Rabanne or Sauvage like crazy, which I ran. And it happens every day to my boyfriend at work because he tells me all the time, every time I smell this cologne, I run away. So, you know, I can understand like for strong perfume that it can be like really annoying. So she said that it gives her like strong stomach bugs. Poor thing, it's not funny actually. And she recently seen actually quoting that the restaurant Sushi Kanesaka has banned dinner from wearing fragrances. A restaurant that you know cannot wear fragrances. Tell me that is a restaurant I will never go. And also she said that finally a meal at where I would get to sit and enjoy my food for once. But just to let you know, this restaurant is around a £420 per person menu. So, I mean, it's not really surprising that they're banning fragrances because, like, they probably don't want to interact with their beautiful food at this price. I don't know. But to be fair, I always advised in my channel that if you're going to a restaurant or very public places, that you should tame down your fragrances in office. That is just the basic of living in society. Like, of course, like if I'm going to personally dinner, I never wear like beast ass fragrances because I know it's annoying. First of all, for me, because I can't really smell my food, and it can be annoying to the person in front of you. So I always say that, and I agree that I wouldn't go to the extent that not wearing any fragrance, but just wear something like a little bit tame, a little bit lighter. I think that's totally fine. But she said she haven't been this way all the time this way because as a teenager, she had I'm quoting, a precious bottle of Elizabeth Arden's Sunflower, which I would spray before disco. Girl, I've got Elizabeth Arden's Sunflower and it's, I'm sorry to say, but precious. It started really in her 30s when she got the first time pregnant. But that is kind of normal because like a lot of pregnant women, like when they go through their pregnancy, they can't stand like big smells. So that's understandable. I think I've always been cautious to not wear a too strong perfume when I've seen like someone pregnant, despite like I was working with pregnant women when I was working in Chanel and they were constantly surrounded by perfume and most of them, like I never heard any of them complaining actually, but I guess it really depends. As a consequence, she said that she still wears a mask in public transport and everywhere she can basically, and which is really funny is that she's married to a scent addict person that is dousing himself into huge amount of cologne before he's going out. That's karma, I guess. Sorry. She said, for my sake, it does not apply in the house, but hours later, I can smell it on him at 100% paces. And she says to him, have you been spraying in the house again? And she said, I accuse, as hotly as he had been caught with a bag of cocaine and several ladies of the night. For me, that's a bit extreme. And she even said herself that the husband found it very annoying. He said, for God's sake, it's not mustard gas. Everything is wrong in there. Everything is wrong. It's full of chemicals, it's bad for your arms, and that it can decrease the IQ of your children whose mothers are exposed to perfume. Decrease the IQ of your children. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I must be so dumb because my mom is obsessed with perfume. It's again like someone that wants to worry everyone about the risk of everything. Everything is risky nowadays, you know, like I'm sorry, but you can't live a life in, like, unless you live in the jungle, you know, I don't know, but like, anyway, so she especially said that benzyl acetate and limonene are known carcinogen. Okay, let me explain. Benzyl acetate is a fixative for fragrance. Where does it come from? It comes from natural compound, benzyl acetates. You can find them in fruits, you can find them in flowers, white flowers especially. It's often found in fragrances, and it's also a natural compound of essential oil. I've been checking that the actually scientific knowledge and what they say about benzyl acetate can be carcinogen. There's limited evidence of that. Just to let you know, but the regulation nowadays for fragrances is extremely strict, and this benzyl acetate can be known as a carcinogen, but under shitloads of it on your skin, and we're not talking about the substance that is actually inside of the fragrance that is really regulated. It's really like worrying people for not a lot. And then she said limonene as well. So limonene is not toxic. Just to let you know, some scientific data that limonene have low acute toxicity if you take it orally. So if you drink it, it might be in the lowest level toxic. So you have to drink it, you know. Limonene is something that you find is all citrus, for example, and it's also known to reduce stress and anxiety if you consummate it in essential oil or stuff like that. It can cause, if you apply it directly to your skin, some irritation, but that is normal when you apply about chemicals. All of them can create you irritation if you directly put them in a certain quantity in your skin, but blended in the fragrance and the amount of the fragrance is perfectly regulated, and most of the time you don't risk anything unless you're allergic to it, and then that's your own responsibility as well to wear fragrance or not. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, recognized limonene as a safe food additive and non-toxic ingredient as well in perfume. So her husband thinks those behaviors are borderline insane, and it's not me that's saying it. She actually wrote it in the article, and she said that she's worried about people wearing perfume around her children, and when it happened, she directly goes to scrub the hair of a child with wipes. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but it's a bit extreme. I understand the worries again, and I understand how annoying it can be for some people, and that's why I think be careful about how we spray and where we spray fragrance. I totally agree. She wants to ban perfume in workplaces, hospitals, school, and public transport. I totally agree. For example, for hospital and school, I don't think you need fragrance when you're going to school anyway. Hospital as well, for anyone that is at hospital out of respect for pregnant women or whatever, or sick person. Yes, of course. But that's common knowledge, I guess. But public transport, people going to work, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but don't take public transport if you don't want to smell like strong smell, because every day when I take the public transport, I smell people not smelling good, but not related to fragrance. So, you know, like, yeah. Let me know, what do you think about this subject? I think it's quite interesting to talk about that, especially between fragrance lovers. Voilà. I think we should all be respectful of where and when we apply fragrance again, and how do we spray them. Of course, I love to overspray, but I won't overspray in the places that she mentioned. I do overspray sometimes in public transport, and honestly, I don't feel guilty okay, at all. So the app of the week is for Xerjoff. Xerjoff is a brand I enjoy, especially like I have Naxos that I personally love, like an amazing tobacco fragrance. Let's face it, it's incredible. Xerjoff is actually doing a lot for charities, and I had no clue, and foundation. So the founder is Sergio Momo, and basically the house, if you don't know, is really well known for having the most luxurious packaging. Apparently they use the most finest ingredient. They have an expert craftsmanship. So the best of Italian perfumery, basically. They created a whole collection of fragrance that is done in collaboration with some foundation and charity. And I found that really good. And they create the fragrance from the beginning to the end with the charity or the foundation. So for a cause, you know, so it's great to see. And for me, like, if I would even more enjoy to spend fragrances if I knew it's coming, like it's been created with some charity or foundation, you know. So they created 3 scents. There's one that is called Save Me, which is the Save Me Trust to help save British wildlife. I actually was surprised that it's like British charities. I don't know. Anyway, there's another one that is called Coexistence, which is in collaboration with the British Asian Trust and Elephant Family to head project in Asia. The third fragrance is 1986, which is Fondazione Candido, which is supporting concept research. And in 22 also they reimagined one of their bottle of fragrance, so they just changed the packaging, but the scent is the same, which is Accento Overdose in a Pride edition. So that I've seen that bottle before. I think it's a very gorgeous bottle. It's so beautiful, and obviously to support the right of LGBTQIA+ rights. It's amazing, and they did that mainly to bring awareness, you know. I think it's great. Like it's by a small thing like that you can start to bring more awareness. Maybe like, you know, they do that for clout, attention, but I think I don't care at this point, because this is very good attention, you know. I wish I could see that more often. So there has been some new fragrances in the fragrance industry. So I don't have a huge list like last month, but I have a small list of release that I was like, oh, that's interesting. So Sol de Janeiro is going to release a new body mist. So you maybe know, especially if you're a woman, you know Cheirosa 62. So this is this fragrance. Well, it's a body mist, but it's really good actually. It stays like a fragrance and I absolutely love it. It's like pistachio, salted caramel, kind of like summery vibe, like buttery vibe. I absolutely love that. Actually, I want to spray a bit now. Oh my God, just a bit. Oh. And apparently they release a new one in this range, because there's a few others like this. It's called After Hours Body Mist. Apparently it's gonna be like a more seductive scent than the others. So you can see by the bottle, it's gonna be blackcurrant and midnight jasmine, and it's gonna be like an amber floral. I was expecting something a bit more crazier. When I see blackcurrant in fragrance, usually I'm a bit stressed, because it's an ingredient on designer fragrance especially that give you something quite generic. So let's see if you tried it again, let me know. But me, I'm gonna go for some shopping to smell it. There's another one that is Widley Me that I'm actually really interested to try. You know, like it's the by Florence by Mills. I don't know if you know the brand, but it's basically like a skincare brand, skincare and makeup. They do makeup, I think. No, it's mostly skincare. It's a brand that is more targeted to teenagers, to be honest, especially seeing the look. But they're actually super trendy on Instagram. They have like super colorful packaging. I think it's very cute. It's a brand that has been created by Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. So I really like her. I think she's very cute, and now she's doing some perfume. So I was looking randomly like what the perfume is about, and at the beginning I was like, oh, I don't really want to try that. And actually, like seeing the note, I'm like, I might be interested. It's bergamot, sage, violet, purple iris, lavender. Also just notifying that like a whole brand, the fragrance is 100% vegan. So I'm interested by the mix of iris, lavender and violet. I think it's amazing. It looks like quite something mystical, you know, and powdery, and actually quite would like to try. And then there's another collaboration of fragrance. Again, like it's a celebrity actuality. Harry Styles is gonna release a sex theme perfume. He will do that in collaboration with Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know if you know, like Gwyneth Paltrow attempt to join the fragrance community, but she did a fragrance that smells like a vagina. So you know the candle that like he made a huge controversy at some point. So interesting. So she's gonna do like Harry Styles sex things, but I think all the groupies of Harry Styles are gonna be there. Oh my God, they know what they're doing. Harry Styles, I think he has a huge community of fans, isn't it? Anyway, interesting. The next one that I would like to talk about, this is like more for English market, because I don't think she sells those perfumes in America yet. I will let you know when it's going to be out. Definitely, I've got my eyes on it. It's Olfactiv-o this brand I really like. If you want to find them in store, if you go to London, you have to go to Les Senteurs. It's like one of the oldest actually perfumery stores. It's very cute, super cute. It's in Victoria Station, and basically like they do like a lot of niche fragrance brands, but you also have like Maison France Xerjoff, big brands, blah blah. But it's very cute, very small and cozy. And they retail Olfactiv-o. Gourmand is one of my favorite gourmand of all time. Quite boozy, it's incredible. They're launching a new fragrance that is called Citrus. So I'm very happy, and it's a new personality because in their fragrance, they usually like match personalities with scent. Like for example, this one is I am not sensual, nostalgic, and indulgent. And I think this new one, Citrus, I think I've seen on the packaging that is going to be like something like spontaneous and things like that. I'm really curious because every time she does fragrance, it's so chic. Like literally, you would know if you smell them. It's so chic. The last release is a designer for women that I'm extremely curious about, and this is another flanker for the heavily talked about Prada Paradoxe. I think this fragrance is underwhelming simple, but it does work. I personally really like Prada Paradoxe, but I'm perfectly conscious that it has nothing special at all. Like it's like a pear floral type of scent. Nothing special. It's true that it lasts beautifully. I have a beautiful sillage, so I absolutely love it, and I'm actually curious to see what they're gonna do with an intense version. I am praying to have something interesting in here, and I would like to see something maybe a bit more unique, you know. This last chapter, I will talk about a mental health community fragrance. So I didn't do notes for that, so excuse me if I'm going in 15 million different type of subject. I might go, you know, my brain think of something and then it talks about something else sometimes. So sorry about that. But yeah, I wanted to talk a bit of mental health as usual because it's important for me. And I think it's important for a lot of people. We all been through mental health and stuff. And also like I want to talk about connect it to the fragrance industry if I can. So my subject is that are we more and more antisocial with the time? Close to 18, 20, I was all about having the most friends possible. Like honestly, I had lots of friends. I still have quite some friends, but I reduced the list like drastically. And some went drastically out of the picture. You know, like when you get in some age, I think like you realize that some of your friends were just like friends that you keep there because you've been friends with them for a long time. I've talked about that recently, but yeah, anyway. So at the beginning, I was all about that, and I was all about social interaction. My life was social as hell. Like I was working, going to university, after I was going to school, but every night I was out. I wanted to go to the cinema. I wanted to see these people, catch up with these people. I was always on my phone, texting some random people, talking about my life to everyone. I was all about that. But there's always something in my personality that always feel a bit forced. I felt I was forced because that's because otherwise I felt alone. I felt like, maybe I'm not normal. And for me, when I was younger than a teenager, I actually spent a lot of time alone. It's like my core personality. I like to be alone. My mom was really scared because I would close the curtain of my bedroom and be in the dark and play with my dolls or whatever I would play with or draw like all day, and she would be scared. She'd be like, why my child is always like alone in her bedroom, you know? Especially because I had a brother, you know, like I was not alone. When I was a teenager, I realized that I needed this interaction. I thought that was the goal of life, you know, to have many friends, to go out, to be active socially, but very active socially. Otherwise, you were just rubbish. The more and more the time passed, the more and more I realized that I actually not always enjoying, and it's stressing me out big time. And I'm not just talking about friends and going out, like people are stressing me out. You know, I feel because I've seen a bit of life, not a lot because I'm just 30, but I've seen a bit of life, and most of my life, I guess it's related to the experience you have. I mean, I had amazing experience, don't get me wrong. My life is great, I'm happy with my life. But I realized that people disappointed me. like always people disappoint me. And I finished by not trusting anyone, which is not good, but that's how I am. I don't really trust people easily because I've seen what people are capable of. Disappointed by people, like you go shopping somewhere and you see someone extremely rude to someone random, ruining the day, or you see someone mistreating the bartenders, or like being just extremely rude. Like last time, Edwin and me, we were buying a bubble tea, and this woman, she threw all of her bitterness to the sweetest waitress I've ever seen, and I was just like, you. And you know, like those kind of little experience that I'm like, oh my God, what's happening with this planet? Like, I think you become more aware. Like, of course, it can be a bad day, and it happens to everyone. I'm not judging, because me, the first I've been in awful like behavior, like because I was in a bad mood and I throw some of my anger to someone else, and I feel really ashamed about that. It happened to everyone. I'm not gonna say I'm a saint, but you know, like it's just. You just realize that it's like a bunch of disappointment with love as well. Like I've been with some guys like that were treating me like shit, like, you know. So I think all of this little experience like led me to a way at now my 30s to be happy with being not really social. And I'm not talking about antisocial, because being antisocial is a problem, I think, because not enjoying at all being with someone else and some other people and just staying lonely, I think it's not good for your mental health. I think so. I'm not, you know. But I've been drastically reducing now those years, because it's training my energy to like go out there, like, and me, I'm someone that is really honest, you know, like sometimes people said that I was rude because I was straightforward, and I'm just like, well, I'm sorry, but if I'm thinking something, I have to say it. I say it, usually I try to take like, you know, chapstick and say it in a nice way. But sometimes it goes like this, you know, and I'm sorry, but like if you behave this way, I have to tell you that you behave like a twat, you know, like, oh my God. And I feel like I cannot even cope anymore too much with those behavior, because when I was younger, I was like seeing those behavior, but I was like, oh yeah, I was very patient and stuff like that. Now, not at all. An example I gave you, like my last job, corporate job that I have like in office, like I went through depression at the end of that job, burnout. I had a proper burnout. I was in hospital because I couldn't think properly, because I completely melted down, because every day I was seeing people behavior being awful to one another, and me, I was in the middle, and I was like, how is it possible? And thinking, like I was like, I don't want to be part of that. Do you see what I mean? It's hard to adapt sometimes when you're aware of behavior like this. And for me, that I'm very sensitive to those things. Like it's been actually really difficult. So for now, for preserving my health, I found that I have social contact on my phone. I talk to my friends. I have a pretty large group of friends in France. I think I have a very limited amount of friends I think I have just one really, really good friend in the UK, and a few other friends, but that's it. And I don't see them often because it's just too much, and I get tired as well. Can we just talk about that? Like when we age, like it's not the same. Like honestly, like I go to bed. Yesterday I went to bed at like 1 o'clock. I am dead inside right now. That's maybe why I'm a bit more sensitive, but I'm dead inside. So like going out to see someone, to do an hour on transport to see someone, come back. Hey, it's taking my time. It's taking my energy. So So now, like, you know, I'm doing that once a week, and not even sometimes, and not even, you know, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, you know, like I like to stay home, and I love to travel though. But it's different when you travel. You're in a different mood, you know. I'm talking about day-to-day basis, you know. So I think yes, with the time, I think we all realize that we are being a little bit less social, and I think it's the best sometimes for your mental health to take care more about you or about your family that is directly living with you. You know, like it's I think important. So it's about a balance. It's about a balance, but the balance is hard to find, and you find it hard sometimes to say no to people as well, because you don't want them to perceive you like that. I don't see that anymore. I've got actually a friend that is really like that. She says yes to everyone. She has to say yes. She wants to please everyone because she's the sweetest person I know. She wants to help. And I used to be quite like that. Now, certainly not. Like, telling you, oh, do you want to go out? You need to be there, blah, blah, blah. No, I need to sleep. You know? But, you know, like, she's really like that. And last time I was scared because I could see that she went to London to see me and she was crying. Because she does a lot of things for other people, and people don't realize how lucky they are to have her, and they are pressuring her, do that for me, because they see that she would say never no. And I'm just like, you don't have to do that to be happy. Actually, I think you should learn to say no, to take time for you. Social is great, but not too much. Like, you need to find a good balance. Anyway, I went in different type of subject, and I wanted to talk about that related to the fragrance world, because when I started my journey in the fragrance community, I was so much all about the community, like because I could see that people had the same passion as me. I found it like incredible. I was the only lost person in my job as a fragrance expert. I was the only one to be fragrance expert in my job in Chanel. And people were treating me like I'm a weirdo. So even in the fragrance house, you see? So, you know, like, to find so many people that had the same passion as me, love to collection fragrance or just smell fragrance, it was amazing. And I was all about community. And I remember some other reviewer at the beginning told me, oh, you'll see in 1 or 2 years, you're going to think different. And I was like, no. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. Because a lot of people, especially, I'm talking about my place as a reviewer. I don't know what is it for you. But a lot of people have used me, literally, for their own business or be friend with me, but for their own business, because they knew it could be helpful to them to be friend with me. And then after some time, they can see that I'm not useful to them anymore, so they're not friends with me anymore. And I've seen that, and me, I think I've got butterfly in my head sometimes, and I don't address those behavior because I'm totally really far from drama. So you know, if you behave like that to me, I'm just letting go. I'm just not talking anymore, and that's it. You know, and I turn the page. And yeah, that's what I did. But still, I remember I've been through phases that I was really disappointed by people. Like, I was like, why? People are so messy. Like, why are people not genuine? And it really affected me during the time. Now, not anymore, because I don't care. Like, you know, like, I care about my community. I care about the people that care about me, and I care about people that treated me well. Sometimes I do some live with other community, like I did that Facebook Live last time. That was super lovely. I did yesterday. I was on Mr. Smelly Live. That I really like this guy. He always treated me nicely. He always genuinely wanted to know how I was doing, not what the job is doing all the time. You know, like, I really value his opinion, and he might be a little dramatic, but he's actually a really nice guy. So for me, it's a good friend in the community. But I can count them like this, like friends in the community, especially between reviewers. It's quite something. I don't want to engage too much in in friendship and stuff like that, because I'm scared to be disappointed again. Like I remember there was this girl that I don't really know, we were not friends, but she pressured me to do a video with her, and she was like, oh, but I got ready the video, and I didn't even agree to do a video with her, and she put the blame on me like this, and I was like, oh, is she nuts? Like, people are nuts. Like, I would never contact someone out of the blue like this and force them to be like this or to spend time with them. Oh yeah, because I had that as well. One day I went to Paris, and I had like a quite famous reviewer that told me, oh, you're going to Paris and you're not coming to see me. I'm like, I was there for an event, and then I went to see my friend that lives in Paris, in a different country as me, that I see every 6 months. Yes, I went to see my friend. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what I mean when I say, like, I'd rather stay in my bubble? I don't want to get involved in those things at all. Like, leave me alone. Like, count me out of the drama. And you know, like before, like I used to love going party and stuff. And now I'm really rethinking it. Like I don't really want to spend time at fragrance party. I'm not talking about events, because I really like events with brand. I think it's amazing. I have time to connect. I don't spend much more time, but I'm talking about real parties. So I had real parties with reviewers that I met that are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I can tell you a lot of names that I love, you know, and I met at parties, but I don't want to do that anymore, because I think it's a bit too risky to get in drama. And I'm actually petrified of drama. I don't want drama. I really don't want that. My mental health is already so shaky because of stress and anxiety. I just don't want to bring something else. And honestly, at the moment, I have so much other things to think about. My friend came back to hospital for his brain tumor. I still don't know when I'm going to Paris to see him. I'm extremely anxious at the moment for I don't know what reason. I'm in conflict with my parents at the moment as well. Thank gosh I'm close to my brothers, but you know, like it's been not really a good time at the moment. And I'm trying to, you know, like everyone, you know, you should be like, oh, poor Clemence, blah, blah. No, not at all. Everyone goes through shit, you know. And at the moment, I have just a little bit more shit, and I think it's the same for everyone. Sometimes we have moments like you have a little bit more, and you can't take anything. So that's what I mean by being a little bit more antisocial with the time. Anyway, let me know what do you think about this thing, how it applies to your life. I would be very curious actually to know. Voilà. Guys, to finish in a good note with some fragrance, I've seen a stories. The story of the week is by Floris. Guess what? I always recommend this brand, and I've seen on the story that they're actually selling now 50 milliliters of some of the fragrances. And I actually click on the button on Instagram shop, and I could see that they have 2 milliliters, 10 milliliters, 50 milliliters, 100 milliliters. So you can try everything into Floris now. I find it amazing. I wish all fragrance house would do those options to make you able to have access to fragrances and to also not pay for a full bottle all the time, you know. It's not always necessary, especially with your choice you have. That's it really, guys, today. I think I've talked a lot. I hope you enjoy Scented Sofa this week. It was a little bit more personal, I think, on the mental health part, but I like this subject. I said this format will be more relaxed, open talking, open discussion as well in the comments. Don't hesitate to discuss with the rest of the people in the comments. It's always appreciated. And voilà, guys, I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you very soon. Bye now.
Dans mon paradis bleu.